Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Ellen Harris, and I am the founder and director of Third Ward Zen. Welcome to Third Ward Zen Presents Food, Movement, Yoga, a liberation praxis for community wellness, a three-part virtual conversation series being held on the evenings of June 17th, 18th, and 19th. We are a small nonprofit that supports community and wellness in the Mississippi Delta and beyond by promoting mindfulness, movement, healthy eating, growing your own food, and other wellness modalities. We do this to foster gratitude, peace, and wisdom in the community. In lieu of not holding our usual annual Delta Roots Festival this year, we are presenting this three-part virtual conversation series. Through this series of conversations, our goal is to continue to carry out the vision of our organization and festival. As a prelude to each conversation, ask yourself the following question. How do we make the magic happen for everyone to either appreciate, support, serve, or take action to address community wellness? Each virtual conversation will last about 30 minutes and include a short video of the speaker's work in the community. If you have a question, please write it in the Q&A or chat section on this webinar platform. We'll try our best to get to any questions before closing. All three conversations will be recorded and uploaded to our Table and Plate Project Delta podcast. A link to the podcast can be found at www.thirdwardzen.net. Now, please join me and be inspired by some folks working in their respective communities on food, movement, and yoga. Today's conversation focuses on growing food in the community. But first, to start us off, I'd like to read a short poem to set the moment. It's called Cutting Greens, since we're talking about growing food. And it's a poem by Lucille Clifton that's found in We Are Each Other's Harvest, celebrating African-American farmers, land, and legacy by Natalie Bazile. Curling them around, I hold their bodies in obscene embrace, thinking of everything but kinship, collards and kale, strain against each strange other, away from my kiss-making hand and the iron bed pot. The pot is black, the cutting board is black, my hand, and just for a minute, the greens roll black under the knife, and the kitchen twists dark on its spine, and I taste in my natural appetite the bond of live things everywhere. This evening's speakers include Mrs. Damalda Newsom, who is an eco-feminist food justice warrior and the executive director for Sankofa Food Sovereignty Alliance here in Greenville, Mississippi. The second speaker is Mr. Chris Johnson, who is the farm manager with Delta Fresh Foods, a nonprofit organization in Cleveland, Mississippi. Our third speaker would have been Ms. Sheila Howard, who is a food access educator with the City of Greenville, Mississippi Food Corps program and the Mississippi Delta Nature Learning Center. But unfortunately, Sheila had an untimely death in her family this afternoon. And as you can imagine, her attentions are all focused now on family, and we are with her in spirit and just hope everything goes well with them in the next few days. So welcome again, everybody. My first question to our two panelists are, to briefly describe your work in the community and why you do it. Might be an oxymoron question, but that's what we'd like you to start with. And Mrs. Newsom, could you start us off?
Yeah, yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Harris. Thank you for inviting me to this this beautiful setting. I mean, I want to first invite the spirits of the Almighty to be here with us during this session. And also, I would like to invite the ancestors to come into the room to be with us during this session. So with that in mind, I'm Demelda Newsom, affectionately known as Mama D in the community that I work with. I've been in Oklahoma for over 42 years, and that's where we originally started our work and joined the community food justice movement. So I just wanted to say that, and we wanted to bring everything we were doing back home here to Greenville, Mississippi. This is where I was born and raised, in Greenville. So I'm so happy to be back home and happy to be a part of this new movement here.
Okay. All right, thank you. And Chris Johnson?
Yes, as Dr. Harris said, I'm Chris Johnson. I'm the farm manager for Delta Fresh Foods in Cleveland, Mississippi. So Delta Fresh Foods got started about 15 years ago, and it was a nonprofit designed to bring about sustainable farming and to introduce kids to become young, good stewardships of the soil and of the world. They got it in a little house in North Bolivar, Mississippi, in Mount Bayou, Mississippi, a predominant Black town. So that's low poverty. So we wanted to reach out to the low poverty areas where sustainable and healthy eating wasn't being promoted. And so that's when we moved to Cleveland 3 years ago. We wanted to expand and have a farm, so we're able to teach the kids how to grow their own food and how to prepare their own food. So we also have a kitchen where we teach them how to prepare their food, and we teach them also how to grow their own food. And we also promote exercise in the process.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Now that we've gotten a brief introduction from you all, Jarvis is our IT guru in the background. Could you please cue up the video of our speaker's work? This video has a combination of work that's being done in Greenville and in Cleveland. And it features food court, school gardens, and the Union Street Community Garden that Mrs. Newsom and her husband coordinate and manage with assistance from Ms. Howard. So, and then the second part of the video highlights a visit to the Delta Fresh Foods Farm. Jarvis?
That's a tomato, that's a tomato, that's a tomato, that's a tomato. This is a little flower right there. Down. Take a look. That's a tomato.
Destiny, and this is my plant video. What I have over here is some squash, and as you can see, it's growing out of my bed. I have some over here as well, as you can see. And over here, I think I only have one different type of squash, and this squash is called zucchini squash, and that's mostly everything I have in my bed.
All right, bravo.
So when I first got to do it, I originally was supposed to put a cucumber and that's it. But it didn't grow very fast. So today we kind of cleaned it out and we plant cleaner.
Okay, all right.
Hopefully it'll grow faster than that.
Okay, and what kind of instrument do you play, Michael?
I play mellophone and I'm part of the OBHS Marching Greenways.
Go ahead on, Mr. Michael.
So in my bed, you will see carrots, tomatoes, and a few beets inside of it.
Okay, so where are the carrots?
The carrots are mainly, some over here, and just a few over here maybe, but they're mainly over here. Now the tomatoes, I spread the seeds over here, and the beets, I try to go around the... Yeah.
Okay, all right, so everything is from seeds.
Everything is from seeds.
Great, bravo.
This is our mobile kitchen, Judy's Kitchen. It's named after our past executive director that passed away. And what we plan to do is take our mobile kitchen out to schools and to facilities to teach young kids and to teach older people that has disability about cooking healthy food and safe cooking. And it consists of a cooktop, running water, refrigerator, and an oven. So our first stop, we'll stop in the butter beans field. So we have butter beans growing in this field, and they've been planted about a week now, and we had good moisture when we planted them. So I think we should have a good stand of butter beans here. And what we do in here is we kind of involve the community. And so we plant butter beans, and once the butter beans are ready, we let the community come out and pick on the half. It's kind of like a partnership, and that kind of like promotes them to eat healthy food. Okay. So it's fresh grown butter beans from the garden.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So over here, what we have is purple hull peas, and we kind of do the purple hull peas with the same thing. If you notice, the purple hull peas are coming up really good, and they was all planted at the same time, and we do the same thing with the purple hull peas, and we give them a variety of different fresh vegetables. So they'll come out and pick the purple hull peas, and we'll get some shelled, and we'll let the kids maybe go to the market and sell them.
Okay. So that video is just a teeny tiny view of what you all are doing in your respective communities. And by no means am I a professional videographer, so
You did good.
It was just meant to try to capture some moments, but I, just want to show some of a visual of what you all are doing. And I'd like to now ask you, why is your work important to community wellness? And you can define community wellness however way you would like to. But could you start us off, Mrs. Newsom?
Okay. So for me, and the way that my perspective is that the earth is ours. It was given to us as a gift, and it's our gift to take care of. and to nurture. It feeds us, it takes care of us, it heals us. So in our community, working intergenerationally, with our young people as well as our senior citizens, we have them working collaboratively together, and listening to the young people speak. One of the things at the end of our day, we have one young man, Michael, our guy, and he asks, is everybody doing okay mentally? That is the last thing that's spoken. And so they've enjoyed the day, and that's the last thing. And if ever, whoever's not feeling okay mentally, too, we offer hugs and encouragement. We say words and that's our gift back to each other. So physical health and mental health are so connected to self-reliance, doing a lot of this for yourself. You can have therapists and you can have, even us there as consultants, but the one thing you have to embrace yourself. So that's what it looks like for me.
Okay, thank you very much. And I just love Michael. I don't know why.
I do too.
But he's a lovable character. Yes.
He
All right,
is.
Chris. Why is your work important to community wellness?
Why my work is important? Because there's a stigma about agriculture. And I want to try to break that stigma about agriculture. And we as Black people think when it comes to farming or gardening, it's slavery. So we have to break that. It's not that. It is mentally, it prepares you mentally, physically, and it enables you to learn to grow healthy food that's more healthier for your body and intake. And if you can convince the young people and they convince the family, it makes a family stronger, which it brings a community together. So if all that comes to place, then you've done your job. It's kind of like you partially save the world. So it's about trying to save the people, and if the people are your community.
Yes. Well said, both of you. What are some challenges that you face in your work? And on the flip side, what do you like best about your work? So challenges and what you like best about your work.
Okay, so one of our primary challenges is that we inherited this garden that had been abandoned for several years, and so my husband and I have worked tirelessly trying to get it up to par. Like, as you could visually see, a lot of our beds are broken down and need to be repaired. So obtaining funding in a timely manner has been a real challenge for us. We've got, several grants and, submitted, but have not been approved on. But the season we had to go on anyway. We had to keep going because the youth were, you see how enthusiastic they were about it. They had never grown anything. Now their challenge has been we tried to encourage them to eat it. They're like, oh no, my mama did. I'm like, okay, you grew it from seed and they have to tend it every week. So where it comes from. But the fact that it's on the ground has been a challenge for them to want to eat it. But we did get them to eat carrots last week, which was a big challenge because they, just not even understanding where food comes from. That it's in the dirt and even before you get it in the grocery store. So that was one of our primary challenges. And I would love to be able to give the youth stipends. They get one now, but it's so minimal that funding is our biggest challenge, I think.
And what do you like best about your work?
The youth keep us coming. You know, they're just so happy to see you, and they're so thirsty for whatever it is that you can teach them or share with them. So we have a circle time, and they each get to speak and talk about the things that that we're focusing on. Whether we're talking about the foods that their mothers and grandmothers cook, or a memory of some kind where it was around the dinner table, and what were some of the things that you got to eat and that you enjoyed eating. Just hearing them talk and the way that they work. We have a 97-year-old senior, and they do her garden for her. And it's just, they're so delighted to do it. You know, they really feel such a part of her life. And it's just, I don't know, that gets it for me, right? You know, right here.
Yes, yes. And Chris, what are some challenges that you face in your work? And then on the flip side, what do you like best about what you're doing?
Well, I can't complain that much because I got the best of both worlds, I guess. And so sometimes challenges, the challenge I have is kind of recruiting when I'm putting on a workshop or something, and I want to make sure that the parents will have the kids there and the parents stand there. You know, I kind of have that challenge sometimes, but it's not real. You know, I want to make sure they're there. If I get them there, I got them. But I just need to make sure that they're there. And sometimes, you know, the parents be running and the parents be working and stuff like that, you know. So sometimes that's really a challenge, you know, when you're recruiting. And on the other hand, what really makes me smile and let me know that don't give up, I'm getting the job done, is when I let them plant certain vegetables and they see the result and they be like, oh, I done that? Yeah, you done that. And then what really gets it, when they taste it, they eat it. You know, it's just like lately when you have a sixth grader and he go home and tell his mom that he had zucchini today. And mom, I really liked it, you know? So I got my point across. I won. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to promote our kids that's coming up to eat fresh vegetables out their garden and teach them how to grow them and show them it's not hard. It's simple. All you need is a shovel and a hoe. You can grow anything you buy in the store. And they was like, how is that? And you show them, it blows their mind. And that's what we're reaching for. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Now, lastly, based on your work, what does community wellness look like to you in the future? Mrs. Newsom?
Community wellness to me in the future is for me, for Black and brown people to go back, particularly people of enslaved ancestry, is to know that we always had the power to create. From them having bought the seeds over from Africa, having that understanding that it may not be the foods we need, but we can bring these seeds over. All of the seeds, you know, from the watermelon to the black-eyed peas, the okra, and they had the forethought to put it and braid it in their hair and bring it here. So they were thinking about the future. They were thinking about way into the future. So I'm looking at that each one of the students, we planted them like a seed, and we want that seed to grow and for it to spread, and then it just continues to reseed itself. So that's what it looks like for me in the future. It's a constant regrowth and reseeding of what we're doing here today.
That's beautiful. Thank you. And Chris?
In the future, so I have 15 young ambassadors. And if I could completely convince them of wellness in the future, and they enjoy it and really love it and take up with it. Just think about those 15, how that 15 would multiply, and they would teach their kids, and they'll teach their parents and their cousins, and they'll get all involved. And because of our makeup as Black and brown people, we're not scared of work. We just have to be taught. We just have to be taught what to do. And because of our makeup as a man and woman, we are strong and we're able to do these things and become stronger. So if we could convince our kids to fall in love with this, cherish the soil, cherish the earth, then we'll have a great wellness of community in the future.
Thank you. Beautifully said. Now, you just raised a question for me. How are you defining your ambassadors?
So, okay, thank you. So, thanks for that question, Dr. Harris. So, in my program, we have youth ambassadors, which they're from 8th grade to college. And what my youth ambassador, what that involves is, and there's a stipend. Yes, there's a stipend. They receive a stipend, and that's part of changing their mindset. They're learning and they're getting paid and they're enjoying what they do. So we may go out and do some community service. Some we might pass out some boxes during Thanksgiving, some boxes during Christmas. And so we do all that. That's what the youth ambassador. And we also take them on to visit other gardens, other farms, and let them see the world, and show them the other life, the other side of this. And so they're able to come back and digest, what they just saw and compare it to home. And so it's awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So do you have young men and women or what?
Yes, young men and women. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we've almost gotten to the end. I wanted to ask Jarvis before we close, are there any questions from anyone listening in?
There's no questions, but we did get a kudos on the video. Somebody named Christopher Newsom loved the video. He said he watched it clearly, and he got his 2 thumbs up, and he got his.
He might be biased, but thank you anyway.
Yes.
All right.
So true.
Mrs. Newsom, would you like to say?
I'm sorry, it's cutting out. Hello? Ooh.
Do you hear me now?
I can hear you, but it's cutting out. Can you say something else?
No, I was asking, did you have anything else you wanted to say before we close?
The only thing I want to say is that as a group of Black and brown people, we need to continue to have hope for our youth. We need to not, even when in difficult times, we need to reassure them that, I have the hope and faith that you're going to succeed at whatever you can do. And we need to truly be there for them. We need to truly be there for them. With our youth, we have to make sure that they have something there for them when they get there and when they leave. We have, and it's usually like a fresh food. Like this week we had peaches and then we had watermelon at the end. But we commune together. So I want to say that's important. Is that we be there for them.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I want to, in closing, thank you both for being here this evening. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedules to graciously share your work and your lived experiences with us. To those listening in, thank you for participating with us this evening. I also want to thank Danny Johnson, who is the CEO and creative producer for Special Gathering Event Production, who generously provided her company's webinar platform for us to use. Benita Rivera, who is a graphic artist who did our social media and marketing artwork gratis. And Jarvis McWilliams, our IT specialist, who always helps me out in a pinch and provided IT support for this virtual series. Thank you so much, everyone. I couldn't have done it without you. And that ends our conversation evening. Peace and blessings to you all.
Keep saying
Good night.
You all.
Good night.
Bye-bye.